The air in the control room of the Starship Meridian crackled with anticipation, like 1,000 tiny lightning bolts dancing across the hairs on the back of one's neck. The hum of machinery and the beeping of consoles provided the soundtrack to the crew's eager preparations for the activation of the hyperdrive, a groundbreaking mission that promised to catapult them into the annals of history. "Is everyone ready for this momentous occasion?" boomed Captain Alex Vance, his voice resonating through the control room like a drumbeat heralding the march of an interstellar army. He stood tall and imposing at the center of the room, his sharp features softened by a playful glint in his eyes as he surveyed his crew with pride and affection. "Ready and raring to go, Captain," chirped Ensign Isla from her station, her fingers dancing over the controls with the grace of a ballet dancer on point. "Never been more prepared in my life, sir," replied Lieutenant Kalen Morgan, his brilliant mind already calculating the myriad possibilities that lay before them once they crossed the threshold of the unknown. "Hyperdrive is primed and set for activation, Captain," announced Chief Engineer Zara Envek, her steady hands betraying none of the excitement bubbling within her like champagne waiting to erupt from a bottle. "Excellent," Captain Vance said, his words laced with satisfaction. "It seems we are truly poised on the brink of greatness. Each of you has worked tirelessly to reach this point, and I have no doubt that our efforts will be rewarded in ways we cannot yet imagine. Let us take a moment to appreciate the enormity of what we are about to achieve." As if on cue, a hush fell over the control room, punctuated only by the gentle whirring of machines and the crew's collective breaths, held in reverence for the momentous occasion. The anticipation was palpable, hanging in the air like a cosmic fog that threatened to burst forth at any moment. "All right," Captain Vance said, breaking the silence with a grin that could have powered a small star system. "Enough contemplation. Let's make history." "Captain, before we proceed," began Zara hesitantly, her eyes flitting from the console to the captain, seeking assurance. "Are you absolutely certain this is the correct course of action? It's not too late to run further simulations or tests." "Zara, my dear," replied the captain, his voice tinged with humor and warmth. "If there's one thing I've learned in my time at the helm of this vessel, it's that no amount of testing can ever truly prepare us for the unknown. Sometimes, we must simply take a leap of faith and trust that our instincts will guide us safely through the void." "Understood, Captain," Zara nodded, her confidence bolstered by the unwavering trust placed in her and her crew by their esteemed leader. "Very well, then," Captain Vance declared, his voice ringing with finality. "All hands, brace for activation. Let the hyperdrive commence." As the countdown began, the control room seemed to hold its breath, the energy of the crew coalescing into a shimmering wave of anticipation that threatened to cascade over them like a tidal wave of cosmic proportions. Captain Alex Vance stood resolute, his heart swelling with pride and excitement as he prepared to lead his crew into the great unknown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The countdown echoed through the control room, and Captain Vance steeled himself as the hyperdrive roared to life. The walls trembled, rattling like an ancient beast awakening from a deep slumber. "Initiating dimensional jump in 3, 2, 1. Jackson's voice was barely audible over the deafening hum of the thrusters, his fingers dancing across the console with practiced precision. But in that final moment, before they could pierce the veil of reality, something went horribly awry. A sudden explosion of sparks erupted from the control panels, causing Jackson to leap back in alarm. "Captain, we've got a problem!" "Abort, abort!" Alex shouted, but it was too late. The Meridian lurched violently, sending the crew tumbling through the air like ragdolls caught in a cosmic whirlwind. As the vessel careened through spacetime, the very fabric of reality seemed to unravel around them, dissolving into a kaleidoscope of colors and shapes. "By the stars! What manner of sorcery is this?" Zara cried out, gripping the edge of her console as she struggled to regain her footing. Her eyes darted about wildly, searching for any semblance of order in the chaos that surrounded them. "Where are we, Captain?" Kalen Morgan, the brilliant engineer, asked as he peered into the swirling maelstrom through which they had been flung. "Somewhere beyond our wildest dreams," Alex murmured, a hint of awe coloring his words as he surveyed the peculiar landscape that now stretched before them. "Or our darkest nightmares," Dr. Ilara Tassoni countered, her brow furrowed in concern as she tended to the injured. "Too right, Doc," Jackson agreed, flashing a grin that belied his unease. "This place is a proper madhouse, Indeed, Alex mused, his thoughts racing as he struggled to process the enormity of their situation. We've been thrown into an alternate dimension, one that defies all conventional logic and reason. Captain, how can we possibly navigate this twisted realm? Zara inquired anxiously, her voice tinged with fear. By relying on our instincts, Alex replied, his tone resolute, and by trusting in each other's ability to adapt to the impossible. Sounds like a plan, Jackson chimed in, attempting to lighten the mood. After all, who needs pesky old physics when you've got guts, gumption, and a whole lot of can-do attitude? Exactly, Alex affirmed, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips as he surveyed the motley crew gathered around him. Now, let's get to work. We have a new world to explore, and an interdimensional mystery to unravel. A vibrant violet sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows over a checkerboard landscape that seemed to ripple and undulate like waves upon an ocean. Captain Alex Vance squinted into the kaleidoscopic sky, where cotton candy clouds morphed into impossible shapes. Captain, Zara called out, her voice laced with trepidation. The readings I'm getting, they don't make any sense. Of course not, came a mellifluous voice from behind them. They whirled around to find a figure draped in shimmering robes, its face obscured by a cosmic mask. You've entered the domain of the Trickster, mortals. Here, the laws of physics are mere playthings. Who or what are you? Alex demanded, his eyes narrowing as he sized up the enigmatic entity. Ah, introductions. How very tedious, the Trickster sighed, its form shifting into that of a towering giraffe wearing a top hat. But if you must know, I am the Trickster, the grand architect of this little slice of chaos. Welcome to my playground. Playground? Dr. Alara Tassoni echoed incredulously. You mean to say this entire dimension is your creation? Indeed, the Trickster exclaimed, transforming into a fluorescent octopus. And the games are just beginning, my dear friends. But worry not, it added with a hint of mischief, for I am nothing if not a gracious host. Enough with the theatrics, Alex growled, his patience wearing thin. Tell us how to return to our own dimension. But that would spoil all the fun, wouldn't it? The Trickster taunted, flickering between forms like a faulty hologram. No, I think it's far more interesting to watch you flounder through my labyrinth of riddles and illusions. Listen, you cosmic jester, Alex spat, his voice steely with determination. We are not your playthings. We have a mission to complete, and I will not let my crew suffer in this twisted reality any longer than necessary. Very well, the Trickster conceded, its voice dripping with feigned sincerity. I shall grant you this one boon. If you can navigate my game and reach the heart of my domain, I will allow you passage back to your mundane little universe. Deal, Alex said without hesitation. But know this, I will do whatever it takes to ensure the safety of my crew and return them home, even if it means outwitting the likes of you. Bravo! The Trickster applauded, its laughter echoing throughout the strange landscape. Such bravery, such conviction. I look forward to witnessing your valiant efforts, Captain. Good luck. And with that, the entity vanished, leaving the crew of the Meridian to contemplate the daunting task that lay before them. All right, team, Alex announced, clapping his hands together. We've got a game to win, and a dimension to conquer. The landscape shimmered like a melting kaleidoscope, colors blending and twisting into impossible shapes. Captain Alex Vance squinted against the disorienting display, his mind racing to make sense of this new world. It was as if they had stumbled into a cosmic funhouse, where reality itself was a fluid concept. Captain, a soft voice called from behind him, and he turned to see a woman with long flowing hair the color of starlight. Her eyes shimmered like galaxies, reflecting the bizarre beauty of their surroundings. Who are you? He asked warily, his hand hovering near his sidearm. Lyra Solara, she replied, her voice as melodic as a harp. I am a denizen of this dimension, and I offer my assistance in navigating the Trickster's game. Can we trust you? Alex wondered aloud, his thoughts whirling like the ever-shifting sky above them. Trust is a fickle thing in this realm, Lyra said cryptically, her enigmatic smile hinting at secrets yet untold. But I assure you, Captain, our goals align. Alex hesitated for a moment, weighing the risks and potential rewards of accepting her help. But with his crew depending on him, he knew there was little choice. All right, Lyra, he finally agreed. Help us understand this place. Very well, she said, beckoning for the Meridian's crew to follow. This dimension is a tapestry woven of the Trickster's whims, where the laws of physics bend to its desires. Time flows like honey, space folds like paper, and gravity. Well, gravity is but a playful kitten here. Sounds like a real mess, muttered Kalen Morgan, the ship's brilliant engineer, as he attempted to balance a pen on his fingertip only to watch it float away. Indeed, Lyra agreed. But with practice, you will learn to adapt. As they ventured deeper into the strange landscape, Lyra shared her knowledge of the dimension's quirks and inhabitants, her words painting a picture of a world in flux. She spoke of beings who could walk through walls or breathe underwater, of cities built on clouds and mountains that sang lullabies to the stars. Is there anything we can rely on? Alex asked, his brows furrowed in frustration. Any constants we can use to navigate this chaos? Only one, Lyra replied, her eyes twinkling like twin supernovae. The Trickster's desire for amusement. It craves novelty and delight, and it rewards those who can provide such experiences. Great, Alex sighed, rubbing at his temples. So we have to entertain a cosmic jester just to make our way through this madness. Perhaps, Lyra said, her enigmatic smile returning, or perhaps you will find that the greatest challenge lies not in navigating the Trickster's game, but in understanding the true nature of reality itself. Deep, Alex mused, his mind awash with possibilities. All right, team, let's get to work. We've got a lot to learn if we're going to conquer this dimension and get back home. The Meridian floated above the planet Paradox like a leaf suspended in syrup, its hull shimmering with iridescent hues that seemed to mock the very notion of color. Its crew, now used to the whimsical nature of this alternate dimension, assembled on the bridge, their eyes locked onto Lyra Solara as she began her lesson. Imagine a world where time flows backward, she said, her voice a hypnotic melody that seemed to echo through the air. Cause and effect are inverted, and you must learn to anticipate the consequences of your actions before you even take them. A flurry of bewildered glances rippled through the crew, but it was Kalen Morgan who spoke up first. Sounds like trying to untangle earphones while blindfolded, he mused, his fingers drumming against his thigh as if itching for a challenge. An apt analogy, Lyra replied, her smile a cryptic secret shared between them. Let us begin. As the crew delved into their training, they grappled with the mind-bending logic of paradox. Tasks that should have been simple, pouring water from a pitcher, for instance, became Herculean efforts that left them drenched in cursing the Trickster's name. Who knew gravity could be such a fickle friend? Alex muttered as he tried once again to coax liquid from a container that seemed determined to hold on to its contents. He looked to Lyra for guidance, and she responded with a knowing nod. Remember, anticipation is key, she reminded him. Envision the water flowing into the glass, and let that image guide your movements. With a deep breath, Alex focused on the task at hand, his brow furrowing with concentration. To his amazement, the water obeyed his will this time, filling the glass in a smooth, uninterrupted stream. Ha! Take that, you capricious forces of nature, he crowed, raising the glass in a triumphant toast. Careful, Captain, Kalen warned, his eyes sparkling with mischief. This dimension doesn't take kindly to hubris. Point taken, Alex conceded, lowering the glass with a sheepish grin. While the crew wrestled with the peculiarities of paradox, Kalen found himself confronted with his own unique challenge, repairing the Meridian's damaged hyperdrive. The brilliant engineer knew every inch of the ship, but in this inverted world, his expertise seemed to betray him. All right, if I reverse the polarity here and reroute the auxiliary power there, Kalen muttered to himself, his fingers flying over the console. Then, with a flicker of uncertainty, he added, or is it the other way around? Trust your instincts, Lyra advised, her voice a calming presence amidst the chaos. The answers you seek are already within you. Easy for you to say, Kalen grumbled, though he couldn't deny the truth in her words. As he continued to work on the hyperdrive, he felt a strange sense of clarity begin to emerge from the confusion. Okay, I think I've got it, he announced, his face alight with triumph. Just need to make one last adjustment. With a final flourish, Kalen activated the repaired hyperdrive, a surge of energy coursing through the ship as it hummed back to life. Cheers erupted from the crew, their spirits buoyed by this small victory. Nicely done, Mr. Morgan, Alex praised, clapping Kalen on the shoulder. I knew we could count on you. Thanks, Captain, Kalen replied, a bashful smile tugging at his lips. But I couldn't have done it without Lyra's guidance. Indeed, Alex agreed, nodding his gratitude to their enigmatic mentor. We have much to learn from her if we're going to navigate this dimension and return home. As the Meridian made its way through the surreal landscape of Paradox, it was clear that the crew's journey had only just begun. But with Lyra Solara by their side, they were ready to face whatever challenges the Trickster had in store. The Meridian's crew stood upon a vast, undulating landscape of crystal shards that seemed to defy gravity. Captain Alex Vance marveled at the sparkling terrain as it reflected the myriad colors of the swirling paradoxian sky. His crew had come far in adapting to the strange conditions of this world, and he couldn't help but feel a twinge of pride. "All right, everyone," he said, addressing his crew with determination. "We've managed to survive the first challenge in the Trickster's game, but we can't let our guard down. Stay focused, and remember what Lyra taught us." "Captain?" Lieutenant Sarah Hawk, the ship's navigator, spoke up hesitantly. "I think I see something, or someone, approaching." Squinting against the shimmering horizon, Alex saw a group of figures emerging from the kaleidoscopic mirage. As they drew nearer, he recognized their leader as Kai Delenix, the elusive renegade who had been waging his own war against the Trickster. "Captain Vance," Kai greeted him with a sly grin and an outstretched hand. "We've heard of your exploits in this realm. Your crew has shown exceptional adaptability thus far." "Thank you," Alex replied, shaking Kai's hand firmly. "Your reputation precedes you as well, Mr. Delenix. What brings you here?" "Common interests, Captain," Kai answered, his eyes gleaming with purpose. "Together, we can overthrow the Trickster's rule and restore balance to the fractured realms." "Is that really possible?" asked Zara Nevek, the ship's doctor, her voice tinged with both hope and skepticism. "Absolutely," Kai assured her. "With your resourcefulness and our understanding of this dimension, we stand a fighting chance." "All right then," Alex declared, his resolve strengthened by this unexpected alliance. "Let's get to work." As the two crews joined forces, they tackled the Trickster's game with renewed vigor. Puzzles that once seemed insurmountable were now solved with ease, as both Meridian and Renegade crew members shared their knowledge and experiences. "Captain," Kalen Morgan whispered in Alex's ear during a rare moment of respite, "I've been thinking about the hyperdrive repairs. What if we could reverse engineer the Trickster's manipulation of causality to regain control of our destiny?" "An interesting idea, Mr. Morgan," Alex mused, stroking his chin thoughtfully. "We should discuss this further with Kai and Lyra." As the crew continued to progress through the Trickster's game, they couldn't help but feel a sense of camaraderie with their newfound allies. Together they reveled in their shared victories, laughed at the absurdity of their predicament, and dared to dream of a future free from the Trickster's chaotic influence. "Who would have thought," Alex murmured to himself, watching his crew celebrate another successful challenge, "that we'd find allies in the most unlikely of places." The fuchsia sun dipped beneath the horizon of the alien world, casting eerie shadows as Captain Alex Vance and his crew explored a long-abandoned temple. Vines crept along the crumbling walls, encircling the ancient glyphs etched into their surface. The symbols shone with a faint, otherworldly glow, beckoning them closer. "Look at these engravings," Lyra Solara murmured, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns. "They tell a story, one that could be the key to banishing the Trickster." "Really?" Kai Delenix chimed in, his eyes wide with curiosity. "What does it say?" "Only the bold may challenge the Trickster's reign," Lyra recited as she deciphered the glyphs. "Through trials of wit and heart, they shall forge a path to victory." "Sounds like our kind of challenge," Alex grinned, clapping Kai on the shoulder. "I knew we were on to something." "Captain," Zara Nevek interjected, her usually calm voice tinged with unease. "How can we trust these glyphs? They could be another one of the Trickster's traps, designed to ensnare us even further." "Zara's right," Kalen Morgan added, his brow furrowed in concentration. "We should proceed with caution." Alex stared at the glyphs, weighing the risks. His gut told him this was their best shot at defeating the Trickster, but he couldn't ignore the concerns of his crew. "Lyra," he asked, turning to their mysterious guide, "is there any way to verify the authenticity of these glyphs?" Unfortunately, there isn't, Lyra admitted, a somber expression crossing her face. But I've studied the legends of this dimension for centuries, and these glyphs align with everything I've learned. Captain, I still have my doubts, Zara insisted, her eyes searching Alex's for reassurance. How can we be sure they won't lead us to our doom? Zara, Alex said gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. I understand your concerns, but I believe in the strength and resilience of our crew. We've faced the Trickster's games head-on, and we've come out stronger for it. If there's even a chance these glyphs can help us, we must take it. Captain. Zara hesitated, her gaze dropping to the floor. Trust me, Zara, Alex urged, his voice firm yet compassionate. We can do this. The first officer nodded, though her expression remained troubled. As the crew continued their exploration of the temple, the whispers of the Trickster slithered into Zara's mind, planting seeds of doubt. Your captain trusts the advice of a stranger over his own crew, the sibilant voice taunted her. He leads you all to destruction. Enough! Zara hissed under her breath, clenching her fists. She wouldn't let the Trickster manipulate her. She was stronger than that. Zara? Alex called from across the room, noticing her distress. Are you all right? Fine, Captain, she replied, forcing a smile. Just thinking. Remember, he told her, his eyes full of warmth and understanding. We're all in this together. We'll find a way through, no matter what the Trickster throws at us. Thank you, Captain, Zara whispered, her heart swelling with gratitude. But as they ventured deeper into the temple, the Trickster's whispers grew louder, ensnaring her thoughts and casting shadows of doubt upon their mission. A cacophony of whispers crashed like waves against the temple walls, ricocheting and amplifying until they became an unbearable symphony. The crew glanced nervously at one another, trying to maintain their focus on deciphering the glyphs that promised salvation from the Trickster's twisted world. Zara's eyes darted frantically around the temple, her mind a whirlpool of doubt and fear. Captain, she muttered, unable to keep the tremor from her voice. I can't. Zara, remember who you are. Don't let it win, Alex implored, placing a steadying hand on her shoulder. But behind his steadfast expression, even he couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly amiss. Look, Lyra shouted, her finger pointing towards a newly uncovered glyph. This symbol, it speaks of banishing the Trickster. Truly? Alex's eyes widened as hope sparked within him. Then we must act quickly. Prepare the— No, Zara cried, her eyes wild with desperation. You don't understand. It's all part of the Trickster's game. This is what it wants us to do. Zara, please. Alex's voice wavered, torn between trust for his first officer and the desire to end their torment. We've come this far. We must take the risk. Risk? Zara laughed bitterly, her voice cracking under the weight of her paranoia. You call this a risk? This is suicide, Captain. Enough, Zara, Alex snapped, the authority in his voice momentarily silencing the whispers. I am giving you a direct order to proceed with the plan. Very well. Zara acquiesced, her face a mask of stoic resignation. As the crew scurried to prepare, Zara's fingers danced across the control panel, her thoughts dark and turbulent. The Trickster's whispers coiled around her heart, seducing her with promises of safety and power. Betray them, it hissed, and you shall be rewarded. Captain, we're ready, Kalen called out, his voice tinged with excitement. Alex nodded, taking a deep breath as he prepared to give the order that would change their fates forever. Activate the— Too late! Zara screamed, slamming her hand down on the control panel. A brilliant flash of light filled the temple, followed by an earth-shattering boom. The crew was thrown to the ground, their senses reeling from the shockwave. Deafening silence descended upon them, punctuated only by the sound of their own ragged breathing. Zara, what have you done? Alex whispered, his voice brittle with disbelief. Saved us all, Zara murmured, staring blankly at the chaos she had wrought. Or doomed us. Time will tell. Time, Alex echoed, his eyes narrowing as he surveyed the destruction. That is something we may not have much of anymore. Rising unsteadily to their feet, the crew stared in horror at the wreckage of their plan. The glyphs lay shattered, their once promising symbols now nothing more than dust and rubble. The path to banishing the Trickster had been sabotaged, leaving their fate uncertain and the future shrouded in darkness. "Come on, everyone," Alex said, his voice low but resolute. "We've faced impossible odds before. We'll find another way, together." As the crew nodded, determination flickering to life within each of them, the temple walls seemed to vibrate with laughter, the echoes of the Trickster's twisted amusement resonating deep within the hearts of the Meridian's crew.